book lovers, book readers, book friends. Welcome to Read This Book. I'm your book hostess, LaShonda, bringing you this week's book review of Hitta's Tea Maker by Edwina Fort. This is actually a duet, so there's a part two, but I'll get to that. Edwina Fort is a new author to me. Had not read any of her works before reading this book, and I'm not quite sure how I came across the book, but I'm glad that I did. It was totally not what I expected, not from the title and not from the synopsis that was given. This duet was a surprisingly sweet and spiritual type of book. It was totally not what I was expecting. So what is the story about? The story is about this tea maker named Angel, who has a brother who is like hooked on drugs, and she's just a genuinely good person. She's a caring person. She's a nurturing person. Because of her circumstances. So she just really tries to see the best in people, and she really tries to help people. And her brother is just, he's out there, and he works for a former boxer named Hitta, who is sort of kind of a thug. Okay, no, sort of kind of. He's a thug and a professional boxer, and he ends up stealing from Hitta, and Hitta breaks into their apartment to try to find her brother and recoup his money, which Angel has spent. So Hitta informs her that you belong to me now, and she's like, oh crap. What am I gonna do? Oh my God, he's gonna kill me. You know, he's gonna rape me. He's gonna do horrible things to me. He's like, I'm not gonna do any of those things to you, but you are going to be mine for the next 6 months. And she was like, okay, but you ain't gonna hurt me. You ain't gonna rape me. You ain't gonna do none of that. And he's like, no. I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know, Angel. I don't know, girl. Put your guard up. Put your guard up. So he takes her, basically moves her into his place, and he is very rough. He is very, there's nothing soft or sweet about him, but he is really soft on her. Like, he really, really likes her. And as you get into the story, you learn more about his obsession, his need for her, which causes him to do some things that are very shady and underhanded, and you just want to punch him in the face. Okay, so I'm thinking as I'm reading the story, like, ooh, you know, he didn't, you know, bust up in her place and took her, basically got her hemmed up in this nice house, you know, treating her nice, helping her with her business and all this stuff, because Angel was a tea maker. She's a tea maker. She owns a tea shop, and it's very popular. She custom blends teas for all of her clients. She's very much into the natural herbs and, you know, natural remedies to kind of help. And she has a gift. As you come to find out, as she's visited by her great five great removed grandmother, who visits her and talks to her and kind of guides her through a couple of things, through different things that are happening as you progress through the book. And that is the first one that threw me. I was like, wait, what? Is this is this paranormal? What's happening? What's with the grades? That was the first like shocking revelation, because I wasn't expecting that, especially with how the tone of the book was going, with Hitta being so rough, and it starts off really, really aggressive. and I was thinking, okay, it's going to be one of those, you know, enemies to lovers type stories. But and we know it's like, don't put me in that box. That's not what I'm writing. That's not what I'm doing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna shut up and read the book. So Angel is visited by her 5 times great removed great grandmother, who was also a master tea maker, who, you know, gives her tips and kind of talks to her about challenges and things and gives her warnings. And Angel is just so very naive to life. She's so very naive. And so you to me, I wanted to protect her, but I also wanted her to like get tough, because I'm like, girl, something ain't right. And so as you progress through the book, you see how the relationship is coming between her and Hitta, and also she has a niece, something with a J. Sorry, I can't remember her name, but she also takes care of her niece because her niece's mother is also like strung out on drugs and she don't care. And so, you know, Hitta takes her and takes the little girl, and he's like just so protective of them, and just, you know, you see a different side of him, but you also see the shade. You also see the manipulation. And I was like, listen, dude, this is gonna blow up in your face. You are dead wrong for some of the things you do. Tell this girl. But Angel is like, okay, I'm safe, I'm secure, my shop is thriving, you know, I have this life that I've always wanted. And she's falling for him. She is falling for him. There is the sex in the book is really sweet. And if you read any of my other reviews with some of my other authors, you know, they get it in. It be, you know, boom, boom, pow, boom, shika, boom, boom, you know, all sexy, steamy. The sex in this book is really sweet. And I was not expecting that, especially with Hitta. It was another revelation. I was like, they're making love. Oh. I know. I was like, okay. So, book 1 is really about that relationship, about them progressing, about the challenges, the manipulations that are happening that Angel is not aware of. And then, you know, she's kind of in her living her dream life. And it ends where I think he proposes in book 1. So book 2 picks up where, the drama happens in the end of book 1. And then it picks up from there. Book 2 picks up where Angel finds out the things that he has done after they get married. She finds out the things that he has done, and she is 86 hot, and she finally like stands up to him. Not that he was abusive towards her or anything, but he was very much like, she just did whatever he said. Like, okay, if we're going to eat at 7, she's like, okay, we're going to eat at 7. But when she found out the things that he did and how he basically beat the crap out her brother, she like stood up to him and was like, no, not today. I am done with you. How dare you? Kick rocks. And he's like, you ain't going nowhere. I'm here to, you don't leave me. Like he showed out. I was like, who the hell he talking to? Angel. But she stood her ground, and I was like, okay, I'm happy for you, girl. Get a backbone, like open your eyes up and see what's happening around you. And when she did, she was just like, what have I got myself into? And so he basically like has his henchmen take her to the house and lock her in, like don't let her leave, whatever. And then this is where the book takes a turn towards the spiritual. So you have some of the spiritual elements kind of sprinkled throughout the book, right? You know, the 5 times great remove grandma, you know, shows up to give a lesson, you know, the healing aspects of the tea, you get that. But book 2 takes on more of a spiritual bit, because Angel does end up escaping the house, and her 5 times great remove sends her to another of her children, of her family, of her ancestors, to stay while she figure out her life, while she try to figure out what is happening. And so she is put into another environment with another of her sisters, another of her kindred, and they talk about the connections that they have. You know, she makes the clothes, you know, she also gets visits from Grady. She, you know, she had lost her passion, kind of her motivation to get up and make teas, and she's introduced to another herbalist, and how, you know, her passion sparks back, and how she's working through things. And there's all these great conversations about, you know, life and the connections, and the teas and the plants and the herbs and the orishas, and, you know, just this whole kind of painting of a picture of connection, of family, of traditions, of women being powerful. And I was really not expecting that type of bent in this book, but it was refreshing. It was different. It was also like interesting too. So it wasn't like just this, I don't want to say religion, because it wasn't religion, but it wasn't this over the top of all of the different goddesses and, you know, all of those things when you hear orishas and stuff like that. But it was an interesting bent to the book. And while all of this is happening, Hitta also gets knocked on his ass, you know, by his I guess by his spirit father. I don't really know what to call him, but his God, his leader, his, I don't know. But he also gets knocked down and was like, hey, the reason things are happening to you is because you don't want to accept your purpose. You don't want to accept your calling. And until you do that, you're not going to get your woman. You're not going to have your family. You're not going to get rid of these headaches. What you going to do? And I was like, oh, okay. And so it really picks up, and it takes you to a turn where he has to deal with accepting the call, accepting his gift, accepting what he's meant to do, which there's some things that is mentioned in the book that leads me to believe that I probably need to read every other book that she's written after this, to see what happens with some of the other characters and with him and Angel. But for all intents and purposes, there is a calling on his life that he's been avoiding. And because he is, you know, now he has to reap the consequences of it. I was like, oh, okay. So you're going to give me a love story. You're going to give me the spiritual, but then you're also going to be like, in case you're wondering, there's a calling on your life. You have a purpose, and you need to go find it, live it, and accept it. I was like, well, okay, let me just get my life together right here, because I wasn't expecting that. Let me go steep some tea and see what the leaves say. I don't even know. This duet was really, really good. Like I said, it was totally not what I expected at all. It was very refreshing because it wasn't what I expected, and what it turned out to be was actually really, really great. So I highly recommend that you read Hitta's Tea Maker 1 and 2. Read them both, because once you finish with book 1, you're gonna want to know what happens in book 2. Read them and love them. So until next time, read a good book